Hello to you. Hello. As always, I'm happy to see you. And today with you, I will try to understand a little bit more about English itself, and I will try to understand how Americans using English. And for me, I think that I will compare this video with which I will watch with you today with my experience, and I will try to understand a little bit about this more because I believe it is useful as for learner, and also it is just fun for yourself, for like interesting time, yeah. And today I will be happy at first to compare our connection to look. Yes, looks like we have good connection. It is good. It is good. If we will have some issues with sound, we will be happy if you will tell about this. But yes, because at the beginning I want to tell you a couple of things. Because this year, in this year 2022, right now if I'm three, gosh, 2023, I left maybe, it's left for me maybe 3 lessons in SL class. About next year, I'm thinking about not going to SL class right now. Just I will study more by myself. At this moment, I have such thoughts, and I hope that it is already it's more like my decision, and that's why I think that studying by myself with you sometimes it will be somehow compensate my ESL classes. Yes, and yeah, right now we will watch video. It's named 7 things Americans don't really say and what should say instead. What should you say instead? Okay, let's go. This video will be short, not so, how to say, long. Yes, not so long. It's how long I'm thinking. Okay, let's go. But before we will start, oh, hello. Connection is 5 from 5. Thank you, Sam Smith Q, for telling about this because I didn't know. Hello, Sam Smith Q. Yeah, let's go.
Today, I want to talk to you about 7 things that native English speakers don't really say and what you should say instead. That's coming up. What's up, everyone? My name is Wes. This is Interactive English, which is all about helping you guys practice and improve your English skills.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to tell you 7 things that native English speakers we don't really say, but these are things that you may have also learned or have heard when you're studying English in the classroom. I want to tell you what these things are and what you should say instead. What's more common? What do people actually say in everyday conversation?
And what I want to tell you one little secret. The way how I start studying English, not usually, but I was using majority of time, of course, YouTube. And I was listening lessons, like I don't remember the name of this guy, but from online teachers. From YouTube I was using platform like YouTube, and it was quite convenient for me because yeah, it is nice. And right now when I'm watching, why I say about this, because while I'm watching this guy, I have like a deja vu, something what was happening with me before. That couple years ago, how I was studying English, I was watching teachers, online teachers, And like this guy example, I don't remember, was I watching him before or not, but it's just as example. And it was like, yeah, it is nice. Um, thank you, Sam. Thank you a lot. And today, yeah, let's find out a little bit more.
Conversation. The first one is it's just a greeting, and that is, how do you do?
How do you do?
How
do you do?
This is something that it's a very old greeting. It's very formal. Nobody really uses it anymore. And if you do say this
How are
to
you
another
doing?
person, it's just going to sound a little awkward. It's going to sound a bit peculiar, and they're going to wonder, like, wow, I have not heard that greeting in an awful long time. So please stay away from how do you do and use one of these greetings instead. How's it going? How are you? If you want to be a little more informal.
Yes, so you can see on screen these new versions. For me, I do not feel awkwardness when I'm asking, how are you doing? Or how do you do? I feel, I know that I need to change my habit, maybe. And what's up? How are you? How are you? Maybe it is more common from these three phrases which I'm using by myself. Because how are you doing? I was asking this pretty often, and I think it is something normal for me to ask. And what I'm asking usually. Okay, I want to. One moment. I want to see just our chat. I have option to have chat in front of me because it would be easier for me. One moment. And yes, personally, of course, I was using more often how are you or how are you doing. This is more often used by me. And yeah, it is kind of interesting thing. Oh, see in our chat, Lisa Marshall, if I'm correct. One moment. Yes, because right now, yes, I want to see chat in front of me. Yes, hello, Lisa Marshall, happy to see you too. Okay, as I said before, how are you and how are you doing? It is what I'm asking usually. How do you do? I never was feeling awkwardness. Never. When I was asking this.
Just
But
say,
again,
what's up?
How's it going?
How are you?
What's up?
So you may be wondering how
What's
you can
up?
get away from these phrases that
to be honest, what's up sounds for me. I do not like this phrase, maybe personally. It's not like I do not like to use this phrase, what's up. It is more informal, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm not using this phrase too often. I don't know. Maybe.
that people don't really use and learn the vocabulary and expressions that native English speakers actually do say all the time that are very common in everyday English. Well, the way you can do that, the best way to do that is just to get more and more exposure to the language. Then we have a response to a greeting, and this is something that it's almost like it's become a part of English learning culture. And the response is, I'm fine, thank you. And you? Just don't say this, all right? This is not a proper response when somebody asks you, how are you? First off, it just...
Example, I'm fine, thank you. That's I usually would say. I'm fine. I don't know how to answer on this question. When people, I do not know properly how to start conversation. Usually I'm just asking, how are you? How are you doing? Maybe this is one of the main greetings which I'm using. But if we are talking about other things like no answers, I'm fine, thank you. And you, I think it is more common for me. And as you said, Lisa, that it is more. I usually say, "How are you?" Lisa Marshall said, "Thank you for sharing," because for me to look how you are answering, how you are talking, it has given me a little bit opening eyes, maybe how I should do this, or maybe how I should not do this when you are sharing with me. And yes, obviously for me, answers when you're studying English in Russia, usually they have these dialogues. Which are use like learners, students using for improving their English, and usually there you can find phrases. At least when I was a student, such phrases like "How are you doing?" or "How are you?" like this, and "I'm fine, thank you." That's more common. At least that's what I remember. Maybe right now books changed. They changed like programs in books, but yeah, it is interesting. What people should answer? If not, "I'm fine." Good. Maybe just good. I'm good.
Sounds robotic.
Yeah.
Second, in English, it's not common to thank somebody after they ask them, how's it going? If I say, "Oh, how's it going?" and say, "Oh, I'm good. Thanks for asking." It's
Thanks for asking.
It's not something that happens, so this is not a common occurrence. We don't say it, and neither should you. So if somebody asks you, "How's it going?" and you respond with, "I'm fine," that is perfectly okay. But it's also very common to just tell someone, "I'm good," or "I'm great." Those are also very popular responses.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How are you?
I'm fine, Shizney.
And how are you?
I'm great. I am great.
The next one is just a
Yeah, usually one of the thing like I was always using this. I'm great. That's how I was always answering. Maybe first couple years, like because I was thinking that I'm not fine. I was trying to cheer myself up somehow by answering non questions, but still, sometimes I'm using this answer like "I'm great." Yes, I'm doing great, and everything is wonderful. Usually, how I was answering, and probably sometimes I'm answering like this too right now, because I do not know informal language, and to say thank you, it is for me was always somehow I was compensating my awkwardness in English. I was when I was talking with people at the beginning, I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I was always using this thank word just because I was feeling that you need to do something to compensate your pronunciation. At least you will look more polite, and you will look more how would say generous. I don't know, polite. That's what I was trying to to show. Because come on, when you're starting conversation first time with native speaker, and as a result you're like, gosh, it's not so easy, and you feel that people will misunderstand you, and you're trying like, okay, Okay, if I will be polite, I hope that they will not hate me after this conversation. That's what I was trying to do, and I was feeling like they're judging me, somebody is judging me when I'm talking, and that's why people usually using thanks. I believe so, because I was using thank you, and because yeah, it's how people studying language, English. They're trying to be polite at the beginning of the conversation, and again, is how I was studying English while I was student. When I was going to the school or even to the university, that's what teachers told us. Okay.
Word, and that is shall. And this is just old English because shall is just used with the subject pronouns I and we, just means will. We're talking about the future. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you will still find this in certain English books today, even though you are not really going to hear this in spoken English. You could also use it as a suggestion with I or we, like shall we leave a comment? And instead of saying you shall, I'd say you should, because shall replaces should in that case. So again, if you're talking about the future, just use will or be going to. Don't worry about shall. And if you're talking about...
Don't worry about shall. That's advice. That's advice from teacher. Okay. To be honest, nobody told me do not worry about this, and when I was starting, but I never like this word shall, because yes, you can find words which you will not like at the beginning of your journey of studying English, and it's happened with me. Shall, it was kind of, or I was using always will. That's what I was using. And yes, thank you for your message and your kind words. I want to read this. Alex, you are very self-aware of your English speaking habits. I believe this self-aware. I think, yeah, maybe in some way I was trying to be self-aware. Yeah, because I believe this has helped you learn as much as you have in such a short period of time. It was long journey for me. I mean, I still go in process, but it depends. Sometimes you can find people who is doing much faster this. Alex, there is nothing wrong using formal language when speaking with first language English speakers. I do the same thing. To use formal language, it is helping sometimes to build somehow boundaries. I don't know, to be honest. A lot, usually you do not know, like I know from my experience, you do not know another language as only formal language. You usually know at the beginning when you started to study conversation, because majority of people, they cannot talk informal, because informal conversation like slang and stuff like this, usually you can receive this from experience of communicating with friends, family, etc. But when you do not have friends and family who is native speakers, you will not receive this, you will not have this informal language. As a result, you're studying by using books, by using videos, and by using something that usually in 70%, of course, right now you can find YouTube, which can help you, which can help pretty well with informal language. But at the beginning, first stage, anyway, they usually can be formal. At least that's how was with me. If you, yeah, it's how it's working with me at least. Yes. Okay, yeah, I think that I'm terrible in informal language. I'm terrible with slangs. I'm terrible with will be example when I will listen conversation between teenagers, I will probably how to say confused by idioms which by the way how they're talking, and with me it is happening often. I can be easily confused by the way how talking teenagers or people who is younger, because usually they're using more, but it depends. You can find even 40 30 different years old people who is using more formal English, or more slang English, I'm sorry. And yes, hello everyone, hello to Common Sense to you, happy to see you. And yeah, let's go.
Suggestion, you should. Next is just another single word, and that is whom. Now, whom has just been overtaken by who. Even though, to be grammatically correct, whom is still used. You will find it especially in written English. But again, we're talking about things that people say. So the difference between who and whom, who is used in the subject position and whom is used in the object position.
What's important is that we're having a baby, and it doesn't matter who came on to who.
Whom.
That's right.
The word whom is used most often with questions, because when we're talking about the direct object and it's an unknown person, chances are you're asking a question. For example, you could ask, whom should we ask for help? But again, in spoken English, it's more common. People are just going to say, who should we ask for help? Or maybe, whom would you like to speak to? And then if you really want to be grammatically correct, you shouldn't end a sentence with a preposition. You'd have to put it before whom and say, to whom would you like to speak? But this just sounds very old, very, very formal. People don't use it anymore. You're not going
to... one of the things when we are talking about endings, example, endings like of words helped. Example, learned, whom. Sometimes when you're listening fast speech of native speakers, you can be pretty easily lose this ending. Like with me, because I'm talking usually slowly, I cannot speak fast, I cannot talk fast in English. As a result, I need somehow to pronounce every word separately. I cannot take glue and talk faster and these words like combine together and they will be like one line. For me it is not working. I cannot do this because I'm not so advanced in English. Yes, I can speak, I can try to talk faster, but if I will try to do so, my conversation, my speech will be more meaningless. It will be just come words together. I mean, like it will make no sense. If I will try, it will be just like nothing. I don't know. Sometimes people can talk fast. I know for sure, and it is amazing. It is cool. It is, and they have at the same time message while they're talking. With me, I cannot, just cannot. Talking slowly, and we first language speakers need to slow the pace. Yeah, probably it would be good for people like me, but at the same time, I do not remember when I was like usually native speakers talking fast, usually. I cannot do this, just cannot. I'm not ready for this level. I think it is already discombobulated. What is that? I think it is a very interesting word. And yes, okay, and sometimes when you're talking, when it's native speaker talking fast, I sometimes noticing that endings, they can somehow disappear. Like M will be not so strong. M letter or sound, I don't know, will be not so strong, and as a result, like, yeah, I got it.
I hear somebody say this, they will just say, "Who would you like to speak to?" The next thing that people don't often say, but you might think they do. Take a look at these phrases right here, and I will explain this. I am going to, I do not like. Okay, you're probably looking at this thinking, well, wait, people use this all the time. But again, these are things that people don't often say. That's the key word right now, speaking. And if we're talking about spoken English, instead of saying, I am going to the park, somebody's going to say, I'm going to the park. They're going to use the contraction I'm instead of I am. Instead of saying, I do not like green vegetables, I'd say, I don't like green vegetables.
And if we are talking here about contractions, contractions I'm trying to use more, less, no more, less. And yes, Alex, never be afraid to ask the natives to slow down. Usually I never ask him to do so. Sometimes if I didn't understand something, I'm just asking, please, can you repeat? Because, like example, right now, I like it was yesterday, I went to the store where you need to change your plan. It is data plan in like on your mobile phone. Yes, I was changing like company anyway. One of the thing, when person was talking, he said this so fast because probably he's working in this company and he's repeating same questions again and again, again and again. As a result, what is happening? I'm talking with him, I'm not, and he usually, of course, talking majority of time, I suppose, I don't know, it's just my suggestion. He's talking probably with native speakers. As a result, he is repeating this, like these questions and learned phrases, and he's like, oh, can you write this or that example? Can you type this or that? And I was asking him several times. I didn't ask him slow down. I just asked, can you repeat, please? And it can happen when people, example, you're going to order something. First phrase can be a little bit like people can talk fast because it's phrases which they're using maybe hundreds times per day. What do you want to like? For example, like when you're ordering something, or and example like yesterday. That's when I'm asking to repeat sometimes because usually they're pronouncing this so fast. I'm like, okay, I got it. That you can speak fast, but I'm usually asking to repeat. It's with me. One moment. And another difference between British and American English, mobile phone and cell phone. American it is cell phone. Yes. I was using always mobile. Mobile because in Russian language you can find such a word like mobilnik. It is old-fashioned words, nobody's using this. But in 2000s it was popular. Mobilnik, it is like a mobile. Yes. Yeah, wow. It is good. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, that's true. I don't really like green vegetables. I know I should like them. They're very healthy for you, but yes, I don't like green vegetables. But my point is this. Most of you may be familiar with contractions and you've learned them before, and that's great. Just keep that in mind when you're speaking and you're having a conversation. It is
Oh, the first day that we signed up for Monday.com, our department was already able to connect our...
It's so much more common to use contractions instead of the full form. It's also very useful for your listening comprehension because you are going to hear contractions as well. And you should be able to identify these words quickly and not have to think much about them. So contraction.
Yes, I do not do contractions because to use them. Usually I'm trying to not use them. Example like, can you do something? Can't. You can say, but I'm afraid usually people will misunderstand. I was talking about this yesterday with you. And yeah, it is my conscious decision where I decided that if I want to be understandable, I need to be to talk in a slow way, in slower pace, and obviously avoid contractions, because it is something that, oh my gosh, it is like a little monster can create a lot of misunderstandings between speakers. Okay, I'm talking too much. Okay, let's go.
Very, very common. This is what people say. Another phrase that people don't really say, or at least it's a question, and they don't ask this question as often as you might think, and that is just, how's the weather? So the reason why I chose this is because when you're learning English vocabulary, especially as a beginner, vocabulary about the weather is some of the first things that people learn. You want to be able to talk about the weather. But at the same time, people don't often just have random conversations about the weather. If there is extreme weather, for example, if it's snowing or it's really hot, then yeah, or it's raining a lot, then people might talk more about the weather. But this question, when it comes to learning English, is more about practicing English than it is about practical English, because I don't know when the last time I just asked somebody, how's the weather? It's not something that you're going to go out and you're going to talk to people and meet people and you're just going to start talking about the weather automatically.
I said to him, how's the weather in Hawaii? And he said, great. It's in the 80s, low humidity.
I feel that in Britain, when people have nothing to say, they're talking about weather. I don't know. It is maybe stereotypes, of course. I'm trying not to use stereotypes thing, but one of the things that sometimes it can fill gaps in conversation. Sometimes you can use a topic about weather when you transition between topic to another topic. Example, you talked about your driving school, or your example, you're talking about job, then you're like, okay, moment of silence, let's talk about weather. And you like talking about weather because to fulfill this gap, because silence usually people do not like. It is usually people can feel awkwardness during silence. Okay, why are we so silent suddenly? And that's why people talking about weather. And then it is like transition from topic to another topic. And then like, after job, weather, and then okay, let's talk again about example your hobby. Yes, or what did you do today? Like, because it will give you time to think about other topic. And it doesn't mean that you will do this like, oh, let's talk about weather because I have nothing to say. No, it's happening usually naturally, like just it's happening. And yes, the same here. Wow, it is nice. It is very nice that it is cool. I think that it is kind of interesting that pretty often that weather can make conversation more interesting. And yes, hello Jamie, and you say that hello everyone, hello to you, happy to see you. Sorry I'm late, I'm home today. It is amazing, to be honest. One of the things what I'm doing now, I'm not announcing right now live streams. I'm just doing when I can do. It is because right now I do not have such schedule. I just, I have time, I need to go online like this. And sorry for this, sometimes it can happen, and it's not like your responsibility. Oh, Alex online, let's go do this, let's do this online. No, it's just for fun. For me, just for fun. And yes, I didn't see, I'm homesick today, you said, Jamie. I didn't see word sick. Oh wow, wishing you to feel better immediately, like right now. Of course, that's why my advice to prepare tea, usually hot tea, is helpful at when to eat something delicious. Sometimes it's difficult to eat while you are sick, but still, tea, it is hot tea with honey, can help pretty often. I know, Alex, but I always feel bad when I miss the lives. It is. Thank you for your support. I appreciate this really a lot. And yeah, do not feel bad. It's not necessary to feel bad, because it's supposed to be like fun adventure. It's not about like feeling guilty. It's not about that. It's about journey, trying, in my situation, about journey, which you can rewatch if you want, like at least to look, oh, he was talking previous time about this. Not necessary to watch everything, just couple minutes if you like, oh, he was talking previous live stream about this. Oh, I see this. Yeah, because yeah, it's not about it's more about fun. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Speak English?
Fluently, thank you.
So keep that in mind the next time you meet somebody and you're having a conversation and you're thinking, okay, I don't know what to say next, so I'm going to jump in there. I'm going to talk about the weather. What you should do instead is talk about those things that are interesting to you. What are you interested in? What books are you interested in reading? What activities are you interested in doing? If you talk about those things, then perhaps you can find something in common with that other person. And that's a more natural way to have a conversation than just talking about.
I little bit think maybe, yes, he's teacher, of course, he's trying, but I a little bit disagree with him that, no, of course he's right, that when you're talking about your example, about weather, about hobby, when you're talking about hobby, of course you can find something common with people sometimes, but one of the things, I believe that talking about weather, it is always helpful. It doesn't mean that conversation can be boring because you're talking about weather. No. It is something can give you, you can find a lot of things while you're talking about such simple topic like weather. Example, people started to compare about, oh, previous year we had example, thunderstorm. Can you imagine? Thunderstorm. Before they like a couple years ago we had tornadoes. And look, wow, as a result, we had emergency, sirens were working on the streets, and we're like, wow. And you just started like a conversation about weather, and you're finding so many interesting information. A lot of facts you can find, a lot of things you can find about people's lives. People's lives. Okay. I think that, yeah, whether it is good transition, and it just can be just really fun. You can find a lot of stuff just by talking about, example, snow. Do you have snow in Houston? I'm you will not find snow here. Like, wow, it is interesting. It is like, compare whether, example, I'm from Siberia, from Houston, from London. It's always fun. It's always interesting. And yes, it is cool. No, not guilty, but bad, because their lives are fun. Sorry, sick message, it doesn't work well. It is working well. I mean, now we have connection. Now we have connection that I hope that you will feel better, and I will think about improving your health. I don't know how to say this well. Maybe after a good night's sleep tonight you will start feeling better. Yes, it's for sure, it's better to sleep more. Yeah.
These artificial topics such as the weather. Then we have an idiom, and that idiom is raining cats and dogs. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's great to learn idioms, especially for your comprehension, because people use idioms all the time. The reason why I'm putting this up there, raining cats and dogs, is because when you're learning English idioms, I think this is often one of the first idioms that people learn. People learn idioms like piece of cake, something's
raining cats, so like what he said, I don't know. Idioms, it is a huge problem. I have idioms here. No, do I have? One moment. I have books. I have here a shelf, as you can see, a bookshelf. It is always useful to have such bookshelf. And here I had book. Yes, I was using this book once with you. It is about idioms. The Great Book of American Idioms. I cannot tell that I'm terrible in idioms, let's be honest. And usually when people starting to talk in English, I was understanding from the beginning. Idioms will not help me to... It is not good beginning. It is not good start for learner who starting to study English, example, or any other language. And yes, I see your message. Raining cats and dogs means raining very, very hard or lots of rain. I never heard about this. Never heard about this idiom before. And that's what I'm talking about. And I'm studying language, English, soon will be like 4 years. And that's why I think studying idioms, it must be a task, like something that you can do just in your free time. Not like on purpose, especially try to use them when you're starting to study, to starting to have conversations. Obviously, it is not the best advice, because you can find people, native speakers, who will look, who knows better and more idioms, and they know better how to use them. In my situation, I was trying to use idioms, and every time it was awkward. That's why if I'm learning them, I like to listen how other native speakers using idioms. Example, I live with a very smart family here in Houston, American family. I think you know this, and they love sometimes to use idioms, and for me, it's enjoyable to listen. But personally, I would avoid to use because, come on, when you're afraid even like to make mistake in pronunciation, of course it's better like to avoid to use this. Just because, but for fun, I like sometimes to look at this book example, to read some idioms and their explanation. One of them. Let's look. On the blink. Not working as it should usually applies to a piece of equipment. The stove is on the blink. That's why we can't make any soup tonight. On the blink. Never heard about this. Yes, I like to listen when native speaker using idioms. It is giving me different perspectives. It is giving me different connection with English itself. But by myself, I think that it is just so slow process which requires a lot of years, and it is just decades of dedication. Decades. Not just 1-2 years, but decades. And yes, Americans use idioms all the time, which can be very confusing to English students. Yeah, it is true all the time. It's just because English full of how rich English is. That's one of the things. That's what it's talking about. That English is very rich language. Yep. Let's go.
Easy, or they might say, oh, raining cats and dogs, because we love talking about the weather. Even though you would learn this idiom, we don't really say it that much. I just say, it's raining hard. I don't really say, well, it's raining cats and dogs. You may hear it from time to time. You may hear it if you're watching a TV show or movie.
Said it was going to rain cats and dogs.
Cats
wow,
and
it is
dogs.
raining cats and dogs out.
But it's not one that people use.
I remember this moment from this series. One moment. I want to show this moment. The Office. I was watching this episode. I remember I was watching this episode and they were trying to. I don't remember her name of this woman on the screen, and they were trying to make fun of her. Not fun. They were trying to count how many idioms or phrases she will use, because every time when there is raining, this woman in this series always was using certain amount of phrases, like how pleasant example to read books at home and stuff, and all people who was working in this company, they were counting. It was fun. I need maybe sure to continue watching this series. It is very hilarious. I love this series. I watched maybe 4 seasons, so maybe of these, maybe 4, I don't remember. 4 seasons I watched of this. The Office of this series.
Dogs out there.
But it's not one that people use often in spoken English. So instead of saying it's raining cats and dogs, just sound a little more fluent like a native speaker and saying, wow, it's raining really hard. Now you know 7 things that we do not say and what you should say instead. And if you found this lesson useful, I want you to write to me in the comments and let me know. And just ask me the question. Just say, how's the weather? All right? I want you to say, how's the weather if you enjoyed this lesson and found it useful. And I will respond to you and I will tell you what the weather is like. And we will have that artificial conversation that you may not have with other people in spoken English. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. And as always, I will see you next time.
Yeah, so it was amazing for me.
I saw moving. I saw.
Yes, it was amazing video for me, I want to tell you. And of course, obviously, I love this video today. Right now, I want just to chat with you a little bit. Maybe it will be a short conversation, but what I wanted to tell you. What I received these days. I don't know who sent me this book. I have no idea. I want to show you this book which I received. It is The Lost Piece. Thank you for sending this book to me. The Lost Piece. Maybe in future I will start reading this book, I hope, step by step. And thank you for this. It is from Yale University, if I'm correct. Yale University Press, New Haven and London. Yale Books. Thank you for this book, but I don't know who sent, again, because I didn't see there any message, and I appreciate this a lot. If I'm believing it is book about Russia, if I'm correct. And also before I was using another book, I Getting Russia Right. I was talking about this, and again, I don't know who sent this book to. Thank you for sending books to me. I appreciate this. And this little mouse, I love this book a lot. It is hilarious. Thank you all of you for your support. And Easy Peasy is one. I love Easy Peasy. I think that I found about this idiom maybe a couple months ago, and I started to use this Easy Peasy because it is like easy peasy. I like it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And also get the hang of. Yes, I never used this one, but I've heard about this one. It is get the hang of, yes. I've heard about this, but again, usually I was not using this one. I sent them to you. It's you sent. Thank you, Sam Smith, because I didn't see any message who sent them. That's why I said that. Thank you to, but thank you, Sam Smith Q. Wow, it's interesting surprise, because I received this last book which I showed. This one book like yesterday, if I'm correct, or today. Yesterday it was, yes. And thank you, all of you. Did you get the remaining wish list items? I'm receiving them step by step today. Yes, I'm receiving. I hope that I will receive soon some of them. Yeah, and on this wonderful supporting note maybe, I want to tell you thank you, all of you. Thank you for your support. Thank you to our Eagle community, amazing Eagle community, because you're helping me a lot. I appreciate this. I'm trying to invest this time into myself, to improve myself a little bit. It is long journey, I know, and but I enjoy from this journey of studying English and trying to improve my knowledge about this world step by step, I know, and I will be better with your support. It is amazing journey. And thank you to all of you. As always, I want to tell you, you're amazing. You're wonderful. You're enough, and thank you for your comments, likes. I appreciate this too. And I'm hugging you. I'm wishing you all of the best. And yes, as always, see you next time.